Welcome to the Smartacus Quiz 2022, the Hindustan Times National Interschool Quiz.
Hello and a warm welcome to each and every one of you. Today, we stand on the cusp of the quarterfinals of the South Zone. On one side of this quizzical battlefield today is PSBB Senior Secondary School from T Nagar in Chennai. Lined up against them are St. Thomas Residential School from Thiruvananthapuram. Can we have a quick round of introductions?
My name is Tanrika. I'm 10 years old. My hobbies are drawing and reading.
My name is Rishi Kannan. I like reading books. I play cricket and I play tabla also.
My name is Rishi Chandrasekhar. I study in grade 8. I like reading books, drawing, playing cricket, and of course quizzing.
Welcome to the quiz, Rushil. Let us see who's representing St. Thomas Residential School, Thiruvananthapuram.
I'm Siddharth Kumar Gopal. I'm the youngest member as well as the captain of this team. I'm from grade 9 from St. Thomas Residential School. My hobbies include reading books and listening to music.
My name is Nangal Shyam. I'm studying in grade 9. My hobbies include reading books, drawing and dancing.
Hi, my name is Jayanaran B. I'm studying in class 10. My hobbies include baking as well as reading.
It brings us to the first element of today's gameplay, which is the coin toss. Rishi, what would you choose for today's toss? Heads or tails?
I choose heads.
Let me flip the coin. It comes up tails. Before we go any further, we will show you what we call the gameplay. Siddharth, which topic would you like to choose to kick off today's quarterfinal?
SI Units Science.
Your first question, Siddharth, on SI units is this. In the SI International System of Units, what multiplying factor does the prefix mega denote? Your answer can either be a number or expressed as 10 raised to a certain power. For example, a century would either be 100 or 10 raised to the power of 2. Your time starts now. What multiplying factor does the prefix mega denote?
10 raised to the power of 6.
1 raised to the power of 6, says Siddharth, quick as a flash. Let's take a look at the answer. Good answer by Siddharth. Let us show Siddharth his second question. The uppercase form of which extreme Greek letter is used to symbolize the ohm, which is the SI unit of electrical resistance?
Omega.
Siddharth says omega. Is that a guess or did you know it for sure?
I know the thing and I know it's similar to the logo of the watch brand Omega, so I made a guess like that.
Wow. How many things contributed to that guess? Omega it is, and the Omega watch company uses this extreme Greek letter, extreme because it is the last letter of the Greek alphabet. 2 points is what you picked. Again, we will now go across to PSBB Senior Secondary School, T Nagar, Chennai. Tandrika, which topic would you like to play?
Children's books.
Children's books from the world of literature. The Tin Man Who Wants a Heart and the Cowardly Lion Who is in Search of Courage are characters in which novel, which was also made into a 1939 film? And your time starts now.
The Wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Without waiting for any time to pass on the timer, what else can I say? Abracadabra, 2 points. L. Frank Baum would be the person who wrote that memorable book, and a beautiful way to learn about the qualities that really matter when it comes to an individual. Very good answer, Tandrika. Let us show you your second question. American author Daniel Handler wrote which series of alliterative books, beginning with The Bad Beginning and finally ending with The End, which deals with the fate of the orphaned Baudelaire children?
Narnia?
Narnia does indeed have children who are missing, whose parents are not there in that story, but not the series I'm looking for. We will go out to your teammates, Rushil and Rishi. 15 seconds beginning now. Who wants to take this?
Okay, I'll take the guess. It's a series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket is his pen name.
Yeah.
All right. Rushil, do you know that Rishi had both his thumbs up and yet you overturned your captain and answered yourself? Were you looking at his?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't care. You were confident. Let's
Yeah.
see if that brings you points. A series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket, which is the pen name of Daniel Handler, is correct. We now go back to St. Thomas Residential School, Thiruvananthapuram. Nakul, which topic would you like to play?
Human body.
The first of your questions coming up now. Which internal skeletal muscle in the human body that is attached to the spine, ribs, and sternum is the main muscle used in respiration?
Diaphragm.
Diaphragm, says Nakul, and he does not really hiccup while saying it because the diaphragm is also the muscle that is said to be irritated when we get a case of hiccups. The diaphragm is correct. It's one of the major muscles of the body because it helps. In fact, it aids respiration to a large extent. It is the one responsible for expanding and contracting the chest cavity so that our lungs can take in and expel air. A good 2 points to St. Thomas. They are on a roll today. Let's show you the second question on the human body, Nakul. In which critical organs of the human body are there structures called the cortex, the medulla, and Bowman's capsules?
Critical organs means one single organ or multiple?
All the question that needs is on the screen. I will not add anything more.
Medulla is in brain, Bowman's capsules is in kidney. Cortex.
There is only one answer to this question. So,
Kidney?
I'm not looking for multiple names.
Kidney.
Kidneys, he says. Nakul deftly skirts around the googly, steps out and hits it for a 6. 2 points is what you get. And since we have a pair of them in our body, that is why the question says, in which critical organs, not organ. On the left, you will see a picture of the kidney, which shows the cortex and the medulla, which are underlined in red. On the right, you will see a further fine cut of the kidneys, which shows you where the Bowman's capsules are located. We now go back to PSBB T Nagar, Chennai, and ask their team captain, Rishi, what would be his topic of choice?
Yeah, I'm taking beloved films.
Rishi, the first of your questions. On the left, you will see a nice poster. It says, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Which film character's mama always used to say this? And there is a clue. The 1994 film ended up winning 6 Academy Awards, and an official Indian remake of this movie was released earlier this year, starring one of the Khans of Bollywood. Your 30 seconds begin now. Which film am I looking for?
Yes, the film is Forrest Gump.
You're saying that it was Forrest Gump's mama who used to say, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Forrest Gump is correct. And of course, Lal Singh Chadda being the Indian film which came out earlier this year starring Amir Khan. And it is a licensed official remake of the classic from the 1990s. Let us show you your second question. Who wrote the 1964 children's novel, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, most famously adapted to screen by Tim Burton in 2005?
The answer is Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl, of course, very, very popular children's author. Many books. 2 points to PSBB T Nagar, Chennai. Let us go back to the team which won the toss. St. Thomas Residential School, Dev Narayan. Which topic from the ones remaining on the grid would you like to play, Dev?
I'd like to choose fruity idioms.
Food and drinks and fruity idioms is what Dev chooses. Let's open up that box on food. The first of your questions for individual play, Dev, is this. The Musa paradisiaca, gets its scientific name from a reference in the Quran that it was the forbidden fruit and not the apple in the Garden of Eden. The discarded part of this fruit also gives rise to a common idiom in English meaning an embarrassing failure. Which tropical fruit am I talking about? And your time starts now. Lots of people holding up 2 fingers, 3 fingers. Dave is not bothered.
I'm not sure, so I'm just gonna guess banana.
All right, you're not sure, but you're going to guess banana. And since we have about 10 seconds, would you care to walk me through your guess? Why would you say banana?
A tropical fruit and like banana peels, I guess, could relate to embarrassing failures. Not really sure.
Okay, because banana peels might lead to an embarrassing situation if you slip on them. Well, you are not slipping up on this question. Banana is correct. Musa paradisiata, because according to the Quran, the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden was a banana. And of course, everybody has used this phrase to slip on a banana skin. Let us take you to your second question, Dave. The Vitis vinifera grows best in Mediterranean climates and has been cultivated since antiquity for use both as food and drink. A common idiom about unfulfilled desires derives from a fable by Aesop involving this same fruit. Just name it, and 30 seconds starting now.
I'm not really sure, but since it says Mediterranean, just gonna take a wild guess and say olives.
Can you repeat that a little louder?
Olives.
Olives. All right, that's a nice guess, Dave, but not the one I was looking for. Going across to Siddharth and Nakul.
I'll give it to Nakul. He seems to be short, but I think we both have the same answer. I'll give it to him.
Okay, Nakul, go ahead.
Sir, grapes.
Okay. And what makes you say grape? Siddharth, was that the answer you had?
Yes, sir, because of the vinifera and the case of sour grapes. I think that's what we both had in mind, sir.
Let's take a look if this grape is going to give you a good points or is going to prove sour. Grapes it is. For the final time in individual play today, I head back to PSBB Senior Secondary School, T Nagar, Chennai. Rushil, which of the 3 remaining topics would you like to play as your specialized topic?
I'm taking civil wars.
The first of Rushil's questions from the pages of history is this. In which African country did a brutal civil war between the Hutu and Tutsis take place in 1994? It led to a genocide leading to some 600,000 Tutsi deaths. Ironically, the country's name is an anagram of the letters war and. Your time starts now.
It's Rwanda.
Rwanda, says Rushil. Rwanda with its capital at Kigali, and Rwanda was where the Hutus and the Tutsis fought out a terrible, terrible civil war, leading to almost 600,000 Tutsi deaths. 2 points to PSBB T Nagar, Chennai. Let us show you your second question on civil wars. This gentleman is General Ulysses S. Grant, who commanded the Union Army during the last stages of a very famous war. He would later go on to become the 18th president of his country in 1869. What you have to tell me, Rushil, is which famous war are we talking about?
Is it the American Civil War? It was fought during Abraham Lincoln's tenure.
All right, so you're saying that Abraham Lincoln was the president when it was fought, and this gentleman perhaps commanded the Union Army during the late stages of that war. Let's take a look at the answer. The American Civil War it is. Of course, President Abraham Lincoln put the principles of democracy and human rights to the test when he led the forces of the Union against the southern states, which are called the rebel states, the Confederacy, as they used to call it in those days.
We had a poem in 7th standard called "Oh Captain, My Captain," and the author was Ulysses.
Lovely, lovely. What a beautiful reference you have pulled into today's discussion. Very good answer, Rushil. 2 points is what you get for this answer. After 6 specialized topics of individual play, the team from PSBB Senior Secondary School T Nagar, Chennai, has reached a score of 11 points. The team from St. Thomas Residential School, Thiruvananthapuram, also find themselves locked at the same score, also on 11 points. We are here for the team play sections now. St. Thomas, three of you quickly discuss and tell me which topic.
Volcano is fine, right? They,
Yeah, volcanoes are
yeah.
fine.
So we can go with volcanoes.
Let's open up that box of volcanoes. The only active volcano in the Indian subcontinent is located on which island in the Andaman Sea? And your time
Sure.
starts now.
It's the Barren
Barren
Islands. Why don't we? Sir, the final answer is Barren Islands.
Your final answer is Barren Island, says St. Thomas. Let's take a look at the answer and see if it gets you points. Barren Island it is in the Andaman Sea. In fact, it is the only active volcano in the entire geographical region of the country of India. And the Barren Island still throws up wisps of smoke and eruptions every now and then, keeping the status as a live volcano, active volcano. 2 points to St. Thomas. Let us show you your second question on volcanoes. The eruption of which world-famous volcano destroyed the cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum in the year AD 79? Your time starts now.
It's Mount Vesuvius.
Right?
Yeah. So the final answer is Vesuvius.
Your final answer is Vesuvius or Mount Vesuvius. Let's take a look at the answer. Vesuvius it is, and as you can see, this is an image which has been taken in recent days, even today, in spite of the fact that Vesuvius has got such a terrible history of destroying the habitation at its foot. The slopes of that mountain and the ground before it are thickly populated even in modern times. I certainly hope that Vesuvius does not bring it upon itself to have another eruption, because that would be a terrible tragedy. St. Thomas has clearly thrown down the gauntlet where team play is concerned. Let us see if PSBB will pick it up. The first of your questions coming up now. According to Jewish and Christian belief, which is the mountain where God spoke to Moses and gave him the 10 commandments? It is located in the Egyptian peninsula that bears the same name as the mountain, and it's a one-word answer, which is an anagram of the letters I as in. Your time starts now.
Rashid, anybody?
I think I know this. It's Sinai or Sinai or I think it's Sinai, but it could be Sinai also.
I think it's Sinai.
Oh yeah, there are two eyes. There are two eyes in I as in.
Okay.
Sinai final answer.
Sinai is
Our
the
final answer is
Sinai.
Your final answer is Sinai, you said. Mount Sinai it is. Rushil started the ball rolling because he was pretty sure he knew it. That, of course, is the Sinai Peninsula that we are talking about. Let us show you the very last question of the specialized topics coming up now. Which is the second highest mountain in India and the highest which is located entirely within the country, rising to 7,816 meters and part of the Garhwal Himalayas in Uttarakhand? Since it is considered holy, all climbing activity on this mountain is banned. It is named after a bliss-giving goddess. Your time starts now, Chenna.
Is it Saraswati or something?
No, it's
Not. No, that's why it's okay.
Kanchenjunga, right?
Kanchenjunga, what's the god's name? Chandrika.
Kanchana maybe.
It's a Kamet mountain or something. Kamet. Can we know that?
Your time is up. Give me a final answer.
Our final answer is Kamet.
Kamet, says Rishi as team captain, because maybe calm could be bliss or love. That's a good guess, but not the one I was looking for. We will go across to St. Thomas for a steal. 15 seconds beginning now. Go for it, guys.
It's
Nanda
Kanchenjunga, right? Yeah.
No,
Final
Nanda
answer is. No, it's Kanchenjunga, right? You sure? Right?
Sure, right?
Maybe.
Yeah,
what
it
else?
is the second highest mountain, definitely.
Yeah,
Right?
this is the first highest.
Yeah. No. Oh, no. First highest is Kanchenjunga.
Yeah.
Oh.
Last 1 second. And your time
Nanda
is up.
Devi.
Give me an answer now.
The final answer is Nanda Devi.
Your final answer is Nanda Devi, in spite of the fact that Siddharth was saying it could be Kanchenjunga, which does sound like a goddess as well. Let's take a look at the answer and see if anybody is getting points for this. Nanda Devi is correct. Nakul looks to the heavens. He says, thank heavens somebody went with my answer and not Kanchenjunga. Nanda Devi is correct. Nanda or Nand being the bliss that we are talking about. Devi, of course, an Indian word for goddess. And it was believed that Nanda Devi was the highest mountain in the world. Now, of course, it is only the second highest mountain in India, but still a part of the top 10 or 15 highest mountains in the world. 1 point, a very, very crucial steal at this moment to St. Thomas School, Residential School, Thiruvananthapuram. Which of the two mystery boxes would you like to play again?
One or two. Tell fast.
Whichever one.
I'll choose one. I don't know anything. Mystery box one.
The first of your questions. Jesse Owens made history by winning 4 track and field Olympic gold medals in which city? And your time starts now.
Berlin.
But it's Berlin, right? Because
Berlin,
the Hitler refused to
Yeah.
handshake, stuff like that.
Berlin.
So our final answer is Berlin.
Berlin, you are saying, was the city where those Olympics took place. Let's take a look at the answer. Berlin in 1936 is correct. They were famous or infamous as the Nazi Olympics because Mr. Adolf Hitler was in power at that time, and he wanted to use these Olympics as a propaganda machine to prove that Aryan supremacy was indeed a real thing. And luckily for the rest of the world, people like Jesse Owens, who was a proud Black American athlete, and indeed a very strong contribution from the brown people of India, where Major Dhyan Chand and his hockey team beat the Germans very decisively, enough to attract the attention of Hitler himself. They made sure that Aryan propaganda or Nazi propaganda would not succeed. The second question from the mystery box, number 1. When we talk about donating eyes, which part of the human eye is actually transplanted from a dead donor to a living person? And your time starts now, St. Thomas.
Cornea.
Yeah, okay. So the final answer is cornea.
Cornea, it is. That is the cornea which gets transplanted when we talk about eye donation or eye transplant. A good 2 points to you, St. Thomas. You move ahead into the third and final question of your mystery box. In which 19th century war did Britain, France, and Turkey fight against Russia? This name frequently comes up in the ongoing war being fought between Russia and Ukraine as well. Your time starts now.
Is it the Crimean War?
Yeah, that makes sense actually.
Yeah. I think
So
it's the
the
Crimean
fin-
War.
Yeah, so the final answer is Battle of Crimea, like the Crimean War, basically.
Your final answer is the Crimean War, says Siddharth Kumar Gopal. And since we have time, you have been really, really good quizzers today. We are very early on the clock. Would you mind telling me a little bit more about what makes you say Crimean War?
So I think you should ask Nakul that.
Okay,
Right now,
Nakul?
like the place of Crimea is being annexed, right? Like Russia started the war itself for that. So basically, I just
Lovely.
connected, and I've heard about the Crimean War before. So I just connected.
Very
with it.
nice. And not for any points, but are you aware of a very, very legendary individual who, during the Crimean War, became like a superstar because of the work that was being done, which was a very humane or humanitarian work? Do you know who that person was?
Florence Nightingale.
What else what else do I say when I meet quizzers like this? The Crimean War is correct. And as Nakul so nicely pointed out, if you see the roughly the right-hand top quadrant of that image, you will see the area that is known as Crimea. And even today, this misadventure of tragic proportions that Mr. Putin is doing down in Ukraine, a large part of that revolves or rotates around the annexation of Crimea once again. Florence Nightingale, the lady with the lamp, was the person who became so very famous worldwide for the humanitarian work in nursing that she did during the Crimean War, because at that time, medical facilities were terrible, and yet she managed to use common sense and medicine to save hundreds and hundreds of lives. Let's open up the second mystery box. All the very best, PSBB. The first of your questions: which city was built in the late 1950s as a part of a government program to encourage people to move into the interior of that country? Laid out in the shape of an aeroplane, as you can see there, it became the official capital of that country in 1960. And your time starts now.
Any clue, guys?
Is
What?
it like
The name of this city, the name of this capital sounds very much like the name of the country itself.
so it's probably got to be a Middle Eastern place.
Saudi Arabia, maybe? No, no.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll guess Saudi Arabia. Our final answer is Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Saudi
All
Arabia.
right, you would still need to give me the name of a city. So what city would it be? Because Saudi Arabia is a country, right?
Still, anything, any guess?
It's. I don't think it's Saudi, but it would be Dubai.
Okay, could be Dubai, because
I
Dubai
think
is pretty modern in that sense. Let us, before I give
think
you
it's somewhere
points,
in
or
Qatar.
okay, could be Qatar as well, and Doha. We are in the World Cup, so it could be something related to Qatar. Before I award points or not award points, let me quickly ask St. Thomas Residential School if they agree with your Middle East guess.
Sir, I thought it
Can
was
we take a
Brasilia.
guess now?
You think it is Brasilia because it sounds like Brazil, and
Yeah,
Rio de Janeiro is not the capital of Brazil any longer. Let's take
Yeah.
a look at the answer. Brownie points for St. Thomas it is. This is Brasilia, which is the official capital of the country Brazil. Of course, Rio de Janeiro was the capital for a very long time. But since the government wanted people to move away from concentrating towards the coastal regions and move towards the center of the country, we will move on to the second question of this mystery box, back to PSP. Peter Shilton was the English goalkeeper when this infamous goal was scored in the 1986 FIFA World Cup. He stood more than 20 centimeters taller than the goal scorer, which you also see on screen. And to this day, English football fans claim that this goal was unfairly awarded and perhaps cost them that World Cup. What you have to tell me, PSBB, is by what three-word name is this goal or incident referred to in football history even today?
It's the hand of God, right?
No, it's not hand of God.
It's not
It-
hand.
It said it's infamous. It said the goal was infamous. Or maybe hand of God because Maradona was shocked.
We'll go with hand of God. Right?
Yeah, our final answer is hand of God.
Hand of God it is. That, of course, Tandrika throws up both her hands in the air. Diego Maradona, of course, being the Argentinian wizard and their talismanic captain who was involved in this incident. To this day, footage shows that his head did not touch the ball. It was, in fact, a part of his hand which touched the ball, and then the ball got guided into the net. But the referee tragically missed this, and Maradona, of course, was not going to confess. He started celebrating. Argentina went up 1-0 and ended up winning that match by scoring yet another goal. And they, of course, went on to win the World Cup. And the final question of mystery box number 2. Which woolen jacket with buttons or a zipper down the front was named after this English nobleman who you see in the black and white image, who led the charge of the Light Brigade in the Crimean War? Taylor Swift also had a hit with a song that had the same name in her album called Folklore. Your time starts now.
What
The
woolen
cardigan final answer.
Could you
The
repeat
cardigan
that? Because I was talking.
Final answer, cardigan.
Your final answer is cardigan. You know, when I used to read Enid Blyton way back when I was in school, cardigan was one of the things which always used to come up when she was describing how the famous 5 or the secret 7 would wrap up when the weather was cold. Cardigan is correct. That is, of course, the Earl of Cardigan, who led the charge of the Light Brigade way back in the Crimean War. Very, very nice answer by Padma Sheshadri Bal Bhavan Senior Secondary School, T Nagar, Chennai. At the end of 8 specialized topics and 2 mystery boxes, we have before us a clear difference in the scores of the two teams. Finishing this quiz with 17 points is the team from Padma Sheshadri Bal Bhavan Senior Secondary School, T Nagar, Chennai. In this quiz, St. Thomas Residential School, Tiruvananthapuram, with 22 points, win today's quarterfinal in the South Zone and advance into the semi-final stage, which will come up in a few days from now. Congratulations to St. Thomas. My commiserations to PSBB, T Nagar, Chennai. Goodbye, God bless, and see you in another episode of Smartacus 2022.